Today we're here with.
Dr. Bayo, I'm so excited to be here with you.
All right, we'll start with question one, which is what led you to pursue medicine and how has your personal history shaped that journey?
I've always known that I wanted to help people, and my journey has been non traditional in respect to always with the intent of, okay, what can I do to help? But I wasn't sure how to put where to put that energy. And for example, I started college and I was a psychology major and I started working with autistic kiddos and I loved it and I loved the impact I was making. But I found myself wanting to see what else was going on. What other dynamics could it be, from their health status, behavioral, all the things. And that led me to the physician assistant profession. And so I applied, got in, worked as a PA for a couple of years. And then I was like, I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to help people even more. And so then ended up leaving my job, going to medical school, residency, the best decision I ever made. And so that non-traditional journey into becoming a doctor all goes back to the one passion, which was how can I help people more? And I get to do that, and it's been fantastic.
Great. Question two is Judd often positions the body as both witness and archival. Do you feel that your body remembers your medical experiences in ways that your professional training cannot express?
Yes. So throughout my journey into medicine and even to this day, I've always wanted to help people advocate for themselves. And by advocating, meaning how can you have a good conversation with your doctor? How can you advocate for the things that are concerning to you, as well as know more about your health? But it wasn't until what happened to me when I was delivering my baby that all of the things that I knew I wanted to help people with came into like laser focus of like, holy crap, I'm in this moment right now that I need to survive because I know something's wrong with me and I'm not being listened to. I'm not being heard. What can I do to make sure that somebody helps me? And I think that memory that what happened to me as I share this story with you right now, I can feel it. I can remember every single thing that happened to me in that hospital room. And when I'm on stage, when I'm wherever I am, even in front of you, it pours over because I remember it. I know how it impacted me, and I know what my intent is to help, hopefully help people never experience what I went through.
For three, we have do you notice patterns in Black women, professionals, or patients and how they're treated in medical environments?
I do. So let's just talk about women in general. This, uh, let's go back. Women haven't even been studied in medicine. So I think that is like a really good thing to provide context to. The fact that a lot of our medications to this day, a lot of the protocols that are a part of health, whether it be heart disease, stroke, all of these things were studied in men. So from the jump, we have not been including women in health. And then when you take it a step further and you see that when women show up in the emergency room, we are more likely to wait longer to get care. We are more likely to have labels such as, oh, it must be anxiety. Oh, it must be depression versus no, she's having a heart attack. And so all of those areas compounded reflect what women have had to experience. Now, if you are a woman of color, that is even more of an issue because not only have you not been studied, but you're not going to be believed. And then there's a lot of notion that if you're a person of color, that you experience pain differently. There was a 2016 study that showed most doctors felt that Black patients felt less pain than their white counterparts. So all of those factors together really highlight the dismissal, the gaslight, all the things that we see that women are experiencing on a daily basis. And it shouldn't be like that. And the last thing I'll say is when we see the disparities that are impacting just diseases, heart disease, stroke, and women, you hear the statistic, women are the number one. Well, yeah, we're not being believed. We're not listened to. We haven't even been studied. So all three of those things line up quite perfectly to be a disparity.
Um,
Alexa and I just had a really long conversation about women's pap smears and mammograms and how the men designed all of these
Yep.
things. So she's questioning the.
I'll give a good example. So a great example is a couple years ago, there was a woman who was went home, was driving, got a knock on the door, and they're like, do you know that you wrecked your car? Did you know what happened? And she was like, no, I had no idea. Well, fast forward, found out that she took the medication that a lot of people have taken, Ambien, and fell asleep at the wheel, hit a vehicle, all the things. Well, when they took some time to kind of see and research Ambien, they found out it hadn't been studied in women. So the dosing that was given is 10 milligrams, and we metabolize medication differently. And that's a real example of the impact. I mean, thank goodness she didn't lose her life, but you have medications out there that haven't even been studied in us. The other thing is motor vehicles. People don't realize the seatbelts, like the crash dummy test, that was in men, short men. That's how they analyzed. They did not have women. So, not cool.
For question 4, we have, what do you wish medical institutions understood about Black women in medicine as providers?
I wish they understood the statistic that, like, as a Black female physician, I represent less than 3% of physicians in the US, and that number is not acceptable. And I wish they thought about what can we do to improve that number. And that means going out and finding the areas that they're all underserved, but what can you do to recruit the talent that is out there in the communities and bring them to your institution? And that takes actually going where they are and say, we're here. What can we do to support you? Because the generational gaps that have happened, especially in medicine and for women of color and Black women, there's no reason for it to happen. We should be, if anything, encouraging more women to be involved and more Black women, especially. But all women of color are, need to be a part of it. But Black women, it's less than 3%.
Give some context on your personal experience with medical trauma.
So I've had a lot of medical trauma. And it's interesting being on both sides of the coin, being a patient and a doctor. It just leads a different perspective. And I'll give 2 examples. One, which I haven't actually talked about a lot, which is, being a 3rd-year medical student and losing my hair. My fingers and toes were swollen. I was dealing with pain that I'd never had before and extreme fatigue. And I knew something was wrong. And so I go to the doctor and I am told that it's just stress and that this is how I'm supposed to feel because I'm in medical school. And that moment of like, no, I know something's wrong with my body. Like, check me for other things. So I pushed and pushed. I got checked. Are you pregnant? Are you this? All the things that we hear about from a reproductive level. But no one thought it could be something else. And so after over 7 doctors, finally found a doctor to believe me and ended up with a diagnosis of lupus and a clotting disorder called antiphospholipid syndrome. So there's that. And then the situation in the hospital where I work at, giving birth and knowing something was wrong and being dismissed and being told that I looked fine, even though I was telling them I'm not fine. So those 2 stories have really affected me. But although it strips me every time I share those stories, if I get to help someone, it's worth it.
Has your medical trauma influenced the way that you advocate or interact with patients, particularly marginalized patients?
Absolutely, it has. There's a lived experience that I have. I wish I didn't have, but that really helps me connect with people when I know what you've gone through. And it helps me connect not only with patients, but also clinicians, with physicians, because when they hear my story, I'm like, this happened to me in my hospital with another healthcare ally who didn't believe me. And it just changes the narrative, and it allows the statistics, especially the one with Black women dying at the highest rate, 3 times more than their white counterparts. it just puts it into a new perspective, and it helps me just connect more.
I view your pursuit of medicine as a reclamation of your experiences. Would that be accurate to say?
It is. It is definitely. It has shaped who I am, what I believe, what I am going to continue to work for. And I have to say, all credit goes to my father. He passed away at age 99, and he was a World War II Korean and Vietnam War veteran. And I grew up going to different events and rallies. I had no idea why I was there, but knew I was standing up for something. So that has become my blueprint of what I stand for moving forward. And so whether it's a medical trauma, which I've had many, whether it's, any sort of event, anything I'm talking about, all of those layers, all of those experiences that I've had from the time I was a child set me up for what I'm supposed to do.
And then, what is the motivation behind clinicians who care?
So when you look at the statistics, over 90% of women have shared that they have been gaslit, dismissed, and not believed when they sought care. And that statistic represents a population which is over half the population in the United States, which are women. And I thought to myself, when I started, I'm writing a book right now that's coming out January 2027. And as I was writing the book and sharing my experiences, that statistic, that number came to play. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what happened to me when I was a third year medical student, I've never shared online. And that was when I was losing my hair and so forth. So I went online, I just did a video, folded laundry, did it, put it out there. And the comments that came from that, I still touches my heart because people started writing the name of a doctor that listened and believed them. One woman I'll never forget, she put in capitals and lots of exclamation points. I'm a fan of exclamation points. I'm like, yes, 42 years for her to find a doctor to believe her. So I thought, oh, I know what to do. So I created a list that connects people with doctors who've been shown to listen, care, and believe their patients. Because I thought, if you can have a free resource that you can go and look at every specialty in medicine and then read what someone has shared about how this doctor made them feel, that is an amazing way to bridge the gap, because you can have all the information in the world. You can have all of this knowledge, but if you go in with that knowledge and that doctor doesn't believe you, you can't get anywhere. You can't get the lab tests. You can't get anything. And we know that women particularly are just not listened to, and that has led to the disparity. So created this list. We put it out there. We had no idea what we're going to do. And when I say we, my husband and my director of marketing, Elizabeth Grimm, put a Google form together and put it out there, and the response was amazing. And so people just started. And so submitting. So on the list, it has city, state, and country, and we have over 2,000 names worldwide. We are now in all 50 states. We are in Australia, Europe, Canada, Germany. And how that happened was people were like, I'm in Canada. I want to add the name of a doctor. So they did. And it has just blossomed into something beautiful. 3 weeks ago, I received a DM from a woman who had been struggling to find a diagnosis. She found a doctor on the list and unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer, but she sent me a thank you. And she was like, I now have the answers. And then I had a mom who said, my child is neurodivergent. I've been looking for a pediatrician in my state that will help me. And I found it on your list. So it's a powerful resource. It's free and it's helping people around the world. And a great example of, think Angie's List or Yelp for restaurants. This is a resource for you to find a doctor, and it's only patient recommended information. So it's been crowdsourced. All the things that are coming in have been organic. So I just love it. I'm so excited. And we were featured in People magazine and in Forbes.
Cool. That was my last question. So, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yes, I would like to extend a level of gratitude to you for just this opportunity to like connect and share. And I love what you're doing. So sorry, Fred, like happiness is coming. Thank you for the opportunity. You're rocking it, and I love what you're doing. And thank you for helping me amplify clinicians who care. Because out of all the things that I'm doing, I'm proud of a lot of things, but this one. Yeah, this one has teeth, and I know it's going to continue to help and grow and help as many people as possible. So thank you for having me.
Perfect.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
you.
supposed to say I forgot the other thing.